say. Now here's Bobby and Matt.
Hey, welcome. Wearing my jersey. New jersey sent to me by the Carolina Panthers. Keep pounding, baby.
Dude, you were on that train for a while. I'm so happy that somebody responded. And now you've got your jersey. You look good in that color.
It's weird because I'm not a blue guy. Is this blue?
It's very blue.
Okay.
Are you colorblind?
Yeah.
A little bit. A lot of it or a little bit?
A lot of it. Anything like over 6 on the dark spectrum.
Really?
Yeah, it all starts to really blend together. If we're putting a number to darkness, around 7, all darks. Dark green, dark blue, black, it all looks the same.
Well, that's about as blue as you possibly can get. Very, very blue.
Okay. Yeah, I keep pounding with the Panthers, my team now, and they sent me a whole box. I had jerseys and
They send you some pads and
game
cleats,
apparel. Yeah. They put my name on the jersey.
I saw
They
that.
did the double name, though, which is weird. And I appreciate it, but both names is kind of weird because it says Bobby Bones. They could have gone with Bones or Bobby. I'm not complaining, just thought it was a little weird.
Well, yeah, you rarely see both names,
Yeah.
but it fits, right? Bobby Bones.
It's kind of
Just
weird to wear a
rolls
jersey,
into
though.
one
Also,
of them.
I feel like a tool. I'm happy for. I'm going to put the jersey up. I have a bunch of jerseys that I put up on the wall that I have had given to me that were made for me, and I'm going to put this in that collection. But I do feel a bit of a tool wearing this jersey.
No, absolutely. You've got to rock it for at least a week where you walk around in the community. This is your team now.
I don't walk in a community, period, regardless of what I'm wearing.
Well,
there's no community walking anywhere.
there's no community walking. I can see you. Yeah, around the house maybe.
Well, glad
A
you
few
said
videos?
that. I was walking out, and my wife goes, "What are you wearing?" And I said, "What do you mean? What am I wearing?" Keep pounding.
This is my team.
And she said, "Where'd you get the jersey?" I said, "They sent it to me." She said, "I never thought that my husband in his 40s would be walking around in a jersey."
Yeah, get used to it, sweetie.
That's what I said. Get used to it, sweetie.
Because
This
every
is who I
Sunday,
am.
I'll be wearing this jersey right in front of the television watching the Carolina Panthers ball out.
They won 30-0 this last week.
Dude,
They embarrassed the Falcons.
embarrassed.
Like,
it was
the only game that was more embarrassing was the Indiana-Illinois college football game. That's it.
I was there.
Yes.
Yeah, that was more embarrassing for Illinois. I'd say that for sure.
And we'll do the Panther game first briefly because, again, I watch it because I keep pounding, baby. And they had to flip quarterbacks. Next thing you know, Penix is out.
Penix is
Our
out.
boy's back in.
Boys back in. Penix was off in that game, and I didn't think that they were going to go to that extent and pull him out of the game, but they just pulled.
He was playing really bad.
Yeah, he was playing really, really bad.
You know what's interesting about saying somebody's playing bad? For you, I feel like you can say that because you played. When I say that, like, they're 1,000 times better than I will ever be. But I was thinking about this last night because there are times I come on and I'm like, man, that dude did not play well.
Yep.
Relative to other people playing the game. That's always my parentheses. I just want to state that. That's always my parentheses. If I'm like, man, he sucked today. Relative to other people playing the game, I know I can't play the game. But sometimes I go, man, you would suck if you were in the NFL. And I'm like, yeah, I have a conversation with myself. But yeah, relative to other quarterbacks.
Relative to other quarterbacks.
He had a tough day.
He had a really tough day at the office. And I've been there before, and I'll tell you what, those days are the worst because you just want to go into a shell. You can't get out of the funk. Every throw that you make is something's just not clicking for you on that day for whatever reason. And when you get done, you kind of go to the locker and you're sitting there and you feel bad for your teammates because you let them down because so much of the quarterback position is always stepping up in those moments. But you just, like anybody, any position can have a bad day. But when you're the quarterback, everybody sees it. And then you go home and there's nothing you can say. You just got to sit there, get your mind right. It takes about a day or so to kind of grasp the situation. Then you just got to get back into your routine because that's the only way to do it.
I take back what I said. That was a butt whooping of a game, but also the Minnesota-Cincinnati game was also a butt whooping of a game.
Oh, my gosh. What Minnesota had 5 turnovers in that game. They had an interception return, a fumble return.
Yeah.
It was just
That was a bad
beatdown.
one. Then I would put the college. I don't know. That may be number 1, though, because you were at the game,
Yes.
the Indiana-Illinois game, and that was supposed to be a big, like a pivotal Big Ten matchup.
It was because both of these teams are kind of in the same situation. Illinois had 10 wins last year, tied for the most in their program history. Obviously, Indiana, that was a historical season for them. 11 wins, college football playoff. They got beat in the college football playoff, but were trekking in the same way, right? And they're trying to build that momentum so that they can have some sustainability, consistency. And I just thought it was going to be a really good ball game. And After about the first 2 possessions, Indiana manhandled them. And it was very evident that whatever you thought about Illinois, Indiana's a much better football team in every capacity.
Cignetti, to me, after that game, I think, not that I didn't respect it, but they had a pretty weak schedule last year. And when they ran into real teams, it wasn't good for Indiana. So they played favorable schedule last year, ran into Ohio State, not great.
The only 2 teams they lost to, which a lot of people like, well, when you guys played good teams, the 2 teams that they lost to was Ohio State, the national champion, and Notre Dame, who finished second.
Yeah, and so because of that, they didn't have any what I would call real wins. So you're like, Cignetti did a great job with Indiana, but who knows how good they really were because the schedule was so soft. However, they did play who was in front of them.
Right.
Now, this year, with that Illinois win, you're like, man, maybe he has actually shifted it.
I know that, and that's the thing about Indiana, the remarkable occurrences that have happened with him coming in. He got a bunch of transfers that came in, and these guys this year, they brought in some more transfers. They got the quarterback Fernando Mendoza from Cal.
Who's going to win the Heisman?
Who might win the Heisman? Who knows? I mean, he was 22 for 24 in the game with 5 touchdowns. The guy looks the part. He's a stud. He's got NFL talent written all over him. But the way in which you talk to some of these players in these production meetings and stuff, they've all got not just 1 chip, they got 2 chips on their shoulders. They're bought in. And they know that they have to outwork these other programs every single day. And that was kind of the messaging that I took away was in practice, they don't let anything slide. And that they're going to go from the start of practice to the finish. And it's the same thing in the game. They're going to play every play like it's the first play of the game. And you see it when you actually go see it in person and when you watch them play.
You look good. Your jacket looked cool. I put a little comment. I was like, A+ jacket.
Hey, I brought the jacket. I do like that jacket. I was like, I got to dust this boy off and let's go.
A little blue-black combo.
Oh, yeah,
like.
blue-black.
I don't know my colors for sure, so I said look like.
Yeah, that's
blue-black.
Yeah, you nailed it.
One other quick college thing before we get into the NFL stuff. I saw, because we record this on late Tuesday afternoon for a Wednesday release, that Gundy got fired at Oklahoma State. And that's where he went to school. He coached there for 21 years.
Yeah.
And if there is not a more, you either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain situation, because that's, Harvey Dent in Dark Knight.
Yes.
It's like, if you're a hero, like you'll die as that, or you'll be around long enough that people just start to not like you.
And that's
what happened there.
Yeah, absolutely.
21 years. And it's got to be weird to be fired by your alma mater.
By your alma mater, and also the successes that he's had throughout his career and have had some really good seasons, put that team on the map and that program on the map. But these last few years have just been miserable.
They've been bad.
And then, he goes in the press conference a few weeks ago before Oregon and says, look, we don't have the resources. They can go out and pay. And Dan Lanning's response was, some people pay and understand that that's going to create championships. Other people are not willing to do that. And as a result, in this world, you're going to be left behind. And then Oregon goes out and just absolutely drums them.
Yeah, when Dan Lanning said some people don't pay so they can make excuses, I was like,
yes,
oh,
that's
God.
Exactly what he said. I was like, oh, no, this is going to be bad.
Yeah, so here we go. Let's go back and forth. As always, you can go first. You're up.
Are you surprised that the announcement was made today that the Giants are going with Jackson Dart?
Yes, a bit in that, because I don't have it up, but I think, aren't they playing the Chargers next?
That's
yes,
why, they are playing the Chargers.
Yeah, that's where the only bit of surprise comes from, is that the Chargers are awesome.
Yes.
And I, in my head coaching experience, have come to understand that it's not advantageous to the rookie to have to go out and play a really dominant defense right off the jump.
It's not. Now, with the offense, they had the great outing against Dallas, obviously Russell Wilson did, but they just become stagnant and they need a spark. And so if you're going to do it, I think that he's also, Dayball and the organization's feeling the pressure from the outside, right? Everybody's complaining, everybody's bitching, moaning. You feel that inside the organization. They say, look, the kid's been playing in every game in some kind of small role, some capacity. Let's put him out there and see if we can be more successful offensively, if he can bring some other element of his game into it. Obviously, he's got the ability to go up tempo because he did that at Ole Miss. Maybe that's something they want to do, but he also has the ability to take off and run with his legs and make make them play 11-on-11 football a little bit. But it is going to be a tough start against a Chargers team that could be the best in the league right now.
I think it's weird how thick his jewels are that he wears.
Yeah, he's got some swag to him, doesn't he?
It's like too much.
Yes.
I don't mind swag. I'm not old man yelling at the clouds. That's not me in any way. I think if you're the backup,
You got to tone it down a little.
yep, I
Yeah.
do. And when he's over there, he's got all his bejewelry on. He's bejeweled.
Yeah,
I'm like,
mean,
dude, you're the backup. Like, you kind of got to earn wearing all that ice.
earn your stripes before you go out and flaunt the ice.
If there was a rookie out there and he was wearing that, he's a quarterback, I would try to take it off of him during the game.
100%.
As a rookie, I wouldn't. If it's like a 4 or 5 year guy, if it's Justin Jefferson, if it's whomever, and they're wearing that, respect. You have earned that.
You've earned it.
If it's a rookie, Kevin, do you see how thick that his necklace was? No. He was wearing under. I don't know if you'd seen it.
No, I'm trying to look for it right now.
Go look for it.
Just him standing on the sideline, and he's wearing, he's got his pads on, it's undershirt, and you see all the diamonds.
Like one big one.
But the real question is, as a quarterback, why would you wear a necklace that thick with that much bling? You're going to get hit. You're going to get tackled, and that thing's going to get ripped off.
And I think an easy
some
answer
point.
would be, well, he's a backup. He's not going to play. Well, he knew the package. There were packages.
There's
for him.
definitely packages. He was in throughout the course of the game, and a lot of it was running packages. Let's just want to make sure everybody knows that I've made a little bit of money so far.
Those are huge.
That's my
Right?
point.
Those are big. That's not like
I don't want to be I don't want to be the old guy on his front yard yelling at the cars. But it's just too much for this situation.
Yeah, earn it. Have your first start, maybe even a first win before we go and start going to the jeweler and being like, hey, got a big game this week. Hook me up. I'm backing up Russell Wilson, but I got a few packages, and it's going to be on television.
I'll be alternating out with Russell Wilson tonight. Watch me for my jewels. Okay, I'm going to go on mine, and I'm going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and just looking at their schedule coming up. They've got the Ravens coming up this week. An angry Ravens team. By the way, who thought Kansas City and Baltimore, battle of 1 and 2 teams?
I know.
I believe they're both 1 and 2.
They're both 1 and 2.
And when the Ravens lost the game to the Lions, 2 1 and 2 teams.
Right.
That's crazy. So just looking at the Chiefs schedule. So game 4 is in Kansas City, Ravens at Chiefs. Game 5, Chiefs at Jaguars. Game 6, Lions at Chiefs. So you're looking at game 7 for when Rashee Rice comes back.
Yes.
God dang, they need some help.
They need some help.
And game 7 is going to be probably when Worthy's healthy, when Rashee Rice is back. They got to win at least one of those 3 games. Because if they're 1 and 5,
It's going to be tough.
I don't know how they dig out of that hole, especially in that division with the Chargers, who already have a 1-game lead on the head-to-head, regardless of
They
where they
got
are.
the head-to-head, but don't they already
They have a 2-game lead.
Two divisions.
Because they're 3-0.
Yeah.
Because they whooped the
3-0,
Broncos.
2 divisional wins already.
Yep. So with the Chargers, with the Broncos, they got to win one of these 3. But, man, it's a Chiefs team unlike I'm used to watching.
Well, it's the dynamics of this team has switched because it was such an offensive team for so long, and now defense has really held them in these games, and they're playing at a really high level, and it just doesn't have the star power on the outside right now because they're down so many weapons. I will say this, though. The Patrick Mahomes greatness shows up in these type of moments when you bring in a guy, Tyquan Thornton, who was cut by the Patriots, last week? They bring him in, and he's their leading receiver, has some touchdowns. He gets him involved. It speaks to the coaching of Andy Reid and his staff and them being able to take a guy that somebody else didn't want, recognize the talent, and then implement him into a game plan and not give him too much where he can still go out there and make plays. And Patrick Mahomes needs just one guy out there that he can make look like a star. And I think that's what all the great ones do is they elevate the people around them. And regardless of who's out there playing, he's going to make plays somehow, some way.
So the Chiefs are 1 and 2. Let's just say they lose to the Ravens. They're 1 and 3. Let's say they beat the Jaguars, but the Jaguars are playing pretty good.
I would say Trevor Lawrence has been on the struggle bus. He still is not.
But they're winning games. Aren't they 2-1?
Right, but you want to see more out of Trevor Lawrence. But I do think that they win that game.
And then they'll probably lose to the Lions. So they're 2 and 4. They get their outside weapons back. They can't really afford to lose any of those games.
Then we got to go on a run. Because they've had one divisional game, right?
Yes, because they opened up with
with the Chargers.
Eagles. No, the Chargers. No, wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. They went Chargers, Eagles,
Yeah.
Giants.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough run.
At the end of the day, though, all you have to do is win your division.
But all you have to do, that's the hardest division
It's the hardest division in football, maybe.
in the AFC.
In the AFC. No, I'd say the AFC
So you're
North.
gonna put
No, yeah, AFC North.
even with the
Raven.
Bengals with Burrows getting hurt, with Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
getting
maybe
hurt.
not. Maybe not. Yeah. Dan Campbell, is he the best head coach in football right now? And the reason I say that is he lost his 2 coordinators. They get beat in the first game of the season. But when you turn on that game last night and you watch the offense, the way that it operates, they still are running the ball effectively, but it looks exactly like it did when Ben Johnson was there last year. The defense, they're healthy again on defense. They're playing at a high level. They had 7 sacks last night. And so I think it all starts with Dan Campbell. He had a vision for this organization when he first came in. He lost his coordinators, but they pick up exactly where they left off last year. Everybody has just kind of fell in, and that's because of his guidance in understanding what his vision is of this team and able to get the people that are coming into those positions of offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator to pick up right where they left off. And I mean, it's a testament to him as a head coach and also his leadership.
Massive win just because it's Baltimore. Like, that's a statement win. But they beat the Bears when they killed them, but the Bears kind of sucked. Yeah, I don't think we really had an idea of what the Lions were until this last week.
Right, because everybody's like, well, what are they going to look like? Ben Johnson, they struggled in the first game offensively, but the creativity's still there. And you even watch the third down play or the goal down near the goal line, what they scored on. They hand the ball off, they run an option off the guy. I mean, all that's coming from Dan Campbell. I mean, and I think that part is pretty exceptional when there is turnover in your organization, especially in those key positions that you have, where you can still have consistency and success. And I think last night, as you just said, was a statement game because they bullied the bully.
You think Jared Goff's the most underappreciated quarterback in the NFL?
That was my other point, man. 100%. This guy's gone to playoffs with 2 separate organizations, been in a Super Bowl, is one of the most consistent quarterbacks you see. I mean, some of the throws he had last night, but in particular, just go to the 4th and 2 call with that ice the game where he just drops it in the bucket to Amon St. Brown. It was beautiful. And he was just tactical last night. He threw the ball where he needed to throw it. He took care of the football. He just runs the show, man.
All right, let's go with the winless teams. We have 4. We have, how many? There are 6 winless teams left. God dang, there's still 6. These
There's
teams
6?
Let's pick the worst. So we have Jets and Dolphins, both winless. And they're playing each other, so that's a winless bowl.
Okay, so somebody's going to win.
Titans and Texans, both winless. The Giants have not won, and the Saints have not won. Those are the 6, correct? Who's the worst?
I mean, it might be the hometown right now with the Titans, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
I mean,
it's not the Texans.
The Titans you've got a rookie quarterback. Your offensive line is a little bit banged up. They just can't get out of their own way, and they've got nothing to hang their hat on, right? The defensively, I think they've got a little bit of an identity, but the defense is on the field too much. They're not being able to sustain drives. It's tough to look at that organization, especially with a rookie quarterback right now and all the holes that they have to fill, and say you feel good about where they're at. I hate to do that to the Titans, but you got to be real.
You think the Titans are worse than the Saints?
I think you could flip a coin right now.
Yeah, me too.
And it would be pretty comparable.
So I'll go Titans at 1, the worst.
Yeah.
Saints at 2.
They did just get absolutely manhandled.
I think the Giants are at 3, especially if they're changing quarterbacks, because I think there'll be a bit of a regression.
There might be. Or he might, take the NFL by storm and be the next thing you know, he'll have diamond earrings in, maybe a nose diamond earring. His helmet's bedazzled.
Covered in diamonds. I'm thinking the best of these bad teams. Probably, the Jets aren't going to. How long is Justin Fields out?
He was week to week because there's a concussion.
Right. Is he going to play next week?
I think he'll play next week.
Probably.
I think I'm going to put the Jets at 4, the Dolphins at 5. The Texans at 5. I think the Dolphins are the best winless team because they've won before. And if I had to pick a quarterback from all of them, I think I'm picking. I mean, it's between Tua and Stroud. And Stroud he had a great rookie year, but even last year wasn't great.
Yeah, even this last game, he threw multiple picks and just has not gotten into a rhythm. But when you talk about has not gotten into a rhythm, I mean, you saw a little bit more from Tua against the Bills, and that was a game that gave you hope for this team because they went toe-to-toe with them throughout most of the game. But Tua has not been playing well up to that point. And so he just hasn't looked like himself. He's a guy that, when he's playing at his best, this team could beat anybody because of the weapons that they have on the outside. So you're saying the best quarterback of this group?
Yeah, of the bad 6 teams, which quarterback do you want the most?
Okay, I'll go with Tua with you. That sounds.
It's a coin flip with him and Stroud.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a coin flip. All right, what's your final topic?
Final topic. Let's see here. You know what? I'm going to give some props to my boy Kevin O'Connell. Okay? And the reason I say that is, during his tenure at the Minnesota Vikings, he's started 7 different quarterbacks. And each one of those quarterbacks has had a win under their belt. So the fact that Carson Wentz came in and they went out and dominated, it didn't surprise me because this guy knows how to coach the quarterback position and put them into a position to be successful regardless of their skill set. I mean, you go back to 2023, 3 consecutive games, he had 3 different starters at QB, which is pretty rare and exceptional to think that no matter who he has under center, he's going to be able to put them in a position to where their team can win a ball game.
See if I can name the 7. Cousins,
yes.
Josh Dobbs, a part of that 7?
Yes, Josh Dobbs. I got a great story about that.
Obviously, the Wentz. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy.
Yep.
Obviously, Sam Darnold. That's 5. Who else started for Minnesota? God,
Nick Mullins.
I wouldn't have got Nick Mullins.
And Jaron Hall.
Yeah, I got 5 of 7. I feel like a solid B. I
Right?
wouldn't have got those 2. I can't believe they won games.
I know it's wild to think about, but it also speaks volumes about the type of coach he is. It's funny because when Kirk Cousins went down that year with the Achilles, I think it was midseason or something like that. Kevin calls me and we're talking for a bit. I'm like, sorry, because I texted him. I said, sorry about Cousins going down, man. Hope you're doing well. And he calls me. He's like, hey, Cass, how's it going? We talked a little bit. I was like, man, is he going to give me the nod? Like he's going to bring me up? Like. Man, I was sitting in a blind that entire morning because a fox had taken out one of my chickens, and so I was going to get revenge on that bad boy. And then he calls, and I'm in the blind, and I was like, man, maybe this is, maybe I'm going to get a call up again, And the next thing you know, say, hey, you think Brady would be interested in coming up here to play? He's like, you got his number? I was like, oh, I should have known. He's like, do you got his number? I was like, I'll get it for you, dude. I don't know if he's interested or not. Because he was retired, but he was still 6 weeks in the season. I was like, if anybody would probably try to make a comeback, it would be Brady. So they had talked and all that stuff, and he's like, I'm just not interested.
Man, it almost could have been. You could have been the 8th quarterback.
I mean, that's what I was saying. I could have been one of those 7, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just tell me where to throw it, coach.
Final thing for me, and mostly I'd like your perspective because, and I'll go back to the Chiefs, it's the second time we have seen coach and player really scream at each other on the field, right? So.
Oh, and Andy body checked him. That was awesome.
Kelsey and Andy Reid.
Yeah.
And I think the first time during the Super Bowl, Andy Reid was shocked that Kelsey hit him. I think he threw the body at him the second time.
Yeah, he knew.
What's up? Who gets the liberty to scream at their coach publicly and like right on the edge of the sideline where everybody can see it?
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic because obviously they've got a lot of respect for each other. Kelsey's earned the respect of that organization throughout the league for what he's accomplished, but at the same time, it's never a good look when you're screaming at your head coach or getting into this back and forth. And look, I've had plenty of them myself throughout my tenure where you get in a verbal altercation because it is a game of emotion. And in the moment, it's not that you're necessarily thinking about your response and you're like, I got to calm down. It's you're reacting to what just took place on the field. You might be pissed off, but you could tell Andy was pissed off about something he did on the field and how he ran a route, whatever it might be, that he knew that Travis could get done or do differently. And then as Travis is coming off, he's probably frustrated but he did bump him, and then this verbal altercation goes back and forth. It's never necessary, but sometimes it happens for sure. But it is something that as a player and as a coach, in hindsight, you look back and go, that looks bad. It looks bad.
I would think the
leader of your team.
Put your helmet on before you scream at him.
Yeah.
If you're a player. Because that way, you don't really know where it's aimed. You don't see the mouth going. You don't see the eyes going. Like, I understand people yell at each other a lot on the sideline.
Oh, yeah.
But I would have the helmet on. And that one was very in front.
Right. And then when you're a superstar, look, there's probably those type of examples that go on throughout the course of the game. Maybe not to the extent of what that was, but when you're the superstar and you're the head coach, you know the cameras are going to be on you nonstop.
Especially when Taylor Swift's freaking fiance.
Yeah, and then it's going to blow up and people are going to make the most of it. And, of course, Andy Reid's going to protect his player. Travis is going to probably say the same thing and let bygones be bygones the next day and come in and, hug it out or whatever it is, especially after a win. But it's something that probably will be addressed.
My theory is they really don't like each other.
You don't think they like each other?
I don't. I think they play the role of, superstar, fun coach, but I don't think they like each other. You don't do that twice.
Yeah, it has been a very visible circumstance in the last 2 years where, that's more than just a heated argument.
The first time I can understand, but there was so much about that first time that you would think, as it's about to happen the second time, you go, this has already happened once. I'll need to air my grievance in a different form.
Right.
Maybe even 68 seconds from now, walking back a few layers. I just don't think they like each other.
I think they do like each other. I mean, I'm just saying, I think that they like each other. I think they're both ultra competitive. They want to do the right thing. I mean, Travis Kelce's getting a little bit older in his career, and he's one of those guys that has always wanted the ball, demands the ball. And Andy Reid, at the same time, is one of those guys that sees it from a 50,000 view, whatever the term is that I'm trying to use there, where he sees the big picture. And if he's not in the right position or he's done something that has directly impacted a play that could have been a conversion or something like that, he's going to let you know about it because that's why he's a really good coach. And the players on the field don't always understand that. And especially a guy like Kelsey, who could be frustrated for a number of different reasons. He might not get the ball. Who knows? And I'm not going to speculate on what the argument was about, but obviously they were pissed off. On the other hand, I do think that they have a great respect for one another, and he's a leader on the team, and so they've got to find a way to get along.
I'll speculate.
Speculate.
Andy Reid didn't get an advance copy of Taylor's album.
She sent him one for free.
Not yet, and that's
Signed,
why he's
sealed,
upset.
and delivered.
All right, Shawne Merriman coming up. We will talk to the great San Diego Charger, Shawne Merriman, next. On now with Shawne Merriman. Shawne, appreciate the time, man.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, so let's go to this. Went to your Instagram. It's fighting. Like, that's your life now, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been that for a while. It's just there's more things now because distribution and technology. So we've kind of expanded a lot, and things are growing pretty fast here.
Shawne, did you ever actually get in the ring and fight professionally yourself?
No, but I still spar. I still, a couple days a week, I'm at Extreme Couture. I'm down in Long Beach at Body Shop or Black House in Redondo. So, and when I travel around, man, I know a lot of the gyms in the country. And so I'll get in there with pro fighters all the time and still spar and stay in shape, man. But it's something that you do it or you don't do it, right? Like, you can play basketball, you can play football, but you can't play fighting. So I'll get in there and I'll do my thing because I can. But then I back off because some of those guys just absolutely insane.
Did you train while playing at all fighting?
I did. In fact, matter of fact, in the mid-2000s, I started training with Randy Couture. He was Jay Glazer at Fox Sports introduced me to Randy Couture. So I just started doing a lot of hand combat drills and movements and pummeling with Randy back in the mid-2000s. And, every offseason I would start training with more and more guys, Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz. This one, Tyron Woodley also was just coming on in the mid-2000s. I was training with him. And so, I was one of the first NFL guys that really took that up and took it serious.
Do you think that type of training translated to the field with all the different field, with the hand fighting and everything else that goes on in the trenches?
Oh, it's a game changer. So when I talk to a lot of players now, I tell them to pick up some form of combat sport, whether it's boxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu is also great. But just something, man, because it's something about that sport that translates right on the field directly. Either use your hands as outside linebacker or pass rusher, getting off the line of scrimmage as a wide receiver. And let me tell you, you talk about conditioning, you can forget about it. When you're tired as hell and one of those wrestlers are on top of you and you're looking up at this clock and see how much time you got before you die, yeah, it's one of those feelings, man. So I came back just a different player, much more leaner. I was bouncing around in the fourth quarters. I didn't get tired. Very, very active and with my hands. I mean, my game completely changed.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there was a definitive time where your game did modify itself because of what you were doing specifically while training fighting.
In '06. So tell you the truth, my first year in the NFL, I sucked at using my hands. I was just big and strong and fast, explosive off the line of scrimmage so I could run around you or run through you. That was it. I was going to get you the ball. But that second year I came out, man, it's just my hand placement. I was able to use my leverage against those 330-plus offensive linemen, being able to open my hips up because a lot of the training that we did when you go on for takedowns and stuff, it just unlocks your hips. And being able to explode your hips up to get guys off of you. It was so many things that just rolled right into football. And if you check it out now, you see a lot of these guys during the offseason are boxing. Micah Parsons, Aaron Donald was another one who did a lot of hand combat drills and MMA stuff. It got pretty popular after I started doing it, but it's literally a game changer for football players.
Well, let's go back to the start of your career. Obviously, you grew up in Maryland, went to Maryland, first-round draft pick for San Diego. You come in, and you're the rookie of the year your first year. You light the league on fire, and you become a name immediately. Were you ready for that type of success, and did you expect that type of success that early?
Yeah, in a way. I think the probably the hardest part for me early on, I was 20 years old when I got drafted initially. So at the time, I believe I was the youngest drafted NFL player ever. And I was a 12th pick overall. When you leave college, you don't really have a break, right? Like you have your right to working out, your right to the combine, and before you know it, you're in OTAs, before you know it, you're in training camp. So you really don't even get a chance to kind of look back and say, man, I'm in the NFL now. It's right a rolling process. It wasn't until after my first year when I was all pro, when I was Pro Bowl, when I was defensive rookie of the year, I got a chance to kind of relax. I went home and I was going, travel the country a little bit. And everybody was doing this damn lights out dance. I'll go down to Miami, I'm in New York, and I'm looking across the street and people doing lights out dance. I said, okay, things are different now. So it really, really didn't hit me until after my first year that things were definitely different.
Did you feel like at the combine the Chargers would take you, or did you do a specific team workout with them? Were you surprised when the Chargers drafted you?
No. In fact, I thought that I would go anywhere from the 3rd pick to the 12th pick. I thought I was going to at 3 to Cleveland. Then you had the then Redskins, now Commanders, right? I think they were sitting at 9. Who I took a visit to see them. It was the Lions who I went to go see Steve Mariucci, the 10th pick. I went to go see Dallas Cowboys with they had 11th pick, and then Chargers had the 12th. So I knew if it was going to be 3, it was going to be somewhere between 9 and 12. I knew it was going to be somewhere in there. And I thought I was going to Dallas because I met with Jerry Jones and Bill Parcells. And they brought me up into the office. And so, mind you, I just turned, I'm still 20 at this time on the visits. And the Dallas Cowboys brought everybody out there who they thought was going to be a first-round guy who they were going to draft potentially. And they sent somebody down to grab me. The first thing I started thinking, okay, what did I do? I'm 20 years old. You start feeling like you did something wrong, right? So they brought me up into the office, and I'm sitting across from Bill Parcells, Big Tuna. He's right across from me. And then I got Jerry Jones that's sitting on the left at a desk, right? There's a little higher. I'm 20-year-old kid. So who's not going to be intimidated by some of the biggest presence in all of football? I mean, you got 2 of the biggest personalities in all of football sitting across from you in this little tiny office, and I could just feel the office just getting smaller and smaller. And Bill Parcells look, we don't believe you're going to be there at that 11th pick, But if you are, we're going to draft you. As soon as you get here, we're going to work the hell out of you. Now, and that little spit in the back of the throat just dropped a little bit, and I said, but yeah, that was it. And in the Chargers, A.J. Smith told me the same thing. We don't think you're going to be here at 12, but if you are, we're drafting you. So I had a really, really good inkling that I was going to get drafted somewhere in between that 9th and 12th pick.
When you came into the league, obviously 2005, you guys were 9-7, but I remember those teams. You guys were some dogs out there. In that 2006 year, you guys go 14-2. Your defense, you've got Sean Phillips, you've got Jamal Williams. You guys had a front that could get after people. But talk about that season in particular, because you guys dominated throughout the season. We actually played you in that playoff game. I'm sorry, I didn't play. You know, Tom threw that ball down the field. You guys had the interception. But talk about that season in general and just maybe looking back and going, man, this team was set up for a Super Bowl.
So I said this, and I know it's going to get some clips and all that. And when you talk about championships, the Patriots will always be the best team in a decade. And I don't think anybody can even deny that. And the Colts were really good around that time too, in that decade. But when you talk about talent and how much we were stacked, you really can't really put it into words, man. We had so many people, so many dogs. I mean, a linebacker, and you said two of the names that people don't talk about a lot. You said Sean Phillips and Jamal Williams. Yeah. I mean, they don't get mentioned enough with the Chargers' history. I mean, Sean Phillips was one of the most consistent guys out there. But he played, was very consistent. And Jamal Williams, because he played that dirty 3 technique nose tackle situation in a 3-4 that gets no shine, but make guys like myself look pretty out there all day because I can go out there and do one-on-ones and they can't step up in the pocket to deliver a ball down the field because he got so much pressure inside. And so, he didn't get talked about enough, man. But you can go on that team and just look everywhere. We were just so loaded, that we should have won, right? I would say between that 2006 and 2009, 2010, we should have got at least one. But again, you when you're going through the Patriots and so I got to remind people, you don't just go through the Patriots. You go through Ben Roethlisberger first. Oh, yeah. Then you go through Peyton Manning, and then you see the final boss in Tom Brady. It's like, so when I'm out, people ask me, hey, why don't you have a ring? Well, let me tell you when I have a ring, because that was a path in those 4 or 5 years in that span to get there.
A guy like Ben and a guy like Tom played in the pocket completely different. With a guy like Ben, almost impossible to take him down. I mean, did you change your game week to week, especially when you got near the quarterback, depending on what type of pocket presence they had?
Oh, 100%, because you had to really watch your rush lanes. And, some of those guys back there, I used to call them the Statue of Liberty. I love the Statue of Liberty back there. The ones just stand there, pat the ball. They might step up a step or two. They might step back, might step lateral, but they're not going anywhere, right? That's the ones I love. But then you got somebody like Ben who didn't get enough credit for just being really, really good leaving the pocket. And like you said, really hard to tackle. And he was so big. I mean, they had him at 260, 265. I said, Ben was 270, 280. I don't care what anybody say. He was up there closer to 280 than anything else. And, I remember times that I've hit him and I thought he was going down. And you look up and the crowd is cheering. And I'm thinking I'm cheering because I got a sack. And he completed a 30-yard ball down the field, right? He was difficult to defend and play against. But those were some times, man, because you had all these quarterbacks that were really, really good. I mean, I got a chance to play against Steve McNair, who was strong, who was really, really physical as well. And so, just the game has changed where these guys, the Patrick Mahomes, the Jalen Hurtses, and Josh Allen, and Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. These guys not only can throw, but they can, and Lamar Jackson can equally hurt you as well. And we didn't have to deal with that then. We had to pick our poison during that week, but now it's just all over the place where you really have to rush these guys completely different than when you did when I played.
You talked about the quarterbacks during that time. Was there an offensive O-line unit that you used to go up against and say, man, I gotta get myself up for this one?
The Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs during that time. I mean, talking about physical. And I know some of the guys that they're a little older, like Willie Rolfe and Brian Waters. But they had Tony Richardson at fullback, Priest Holmes, and when Priest Holmes went out, it was Larry Johnson that came in there. Tony Gonzalez on one side, but a tight end that no one talked about enough was Jason Dunn, who was 6'7", 280 pounds. When he grabs you, if he grabs, the play was over. You can forget about it. And they were just a physical bunch. They would line up at all sorts of power, whether it was a far or near or a eye, it didn't matter. And they would just gash you 35 plus times downhill. You know, you got to come down and Tony Richardson got to kick out Tony Richardson or get under him. And he may not come this time. And Brian Waters, his pulling guard, is coming. It was a different variation every single play of power. And you just had, I mean, we would play on Sunday, and my body sometimes wouldn't recover until like Wednesday or Thursday. And this is when I was like 22, 23. When they start implementing Thursday night football, you could just forget about it, right? That was just that was an afterthought because that team was so physical. But you know, I played against Walter Jones. I played against Orlando Pace. You know, I played against probably one of the best that people don't talk about enough on my own team, and Marcus McNeil. Out of Auburn. And, you know, if Marcus didn't have that back problem, he would have been a Hall of Famer. I mean, this guy's 6'7", 6'8", 335 pounds and can move like a tight end. And I had to see him every single day in practice. And so I had my work cut out for me, man. But we played some offensive line that would just gash you and just physical.
When did you start to be double teamed, and did you have to alter your game again once that started to happen consistently?
Yeah, it was I started to be double teamed towards the end of my rookie year. I don't think I was on the map enough yet when I first came onto the scene. I think it was like after my 3-sack game against Peyton my rookie year. That's when everybody was like, okay, yeah, well, we know this guy is now. And then beginning of 06 from game one, all hell broke loose. It was bunch set, tight ends hit me from the line of scrimmage before they go out. And when they do it, now a back is coming to chip me and their fan protection. And what I started to learn was, and I had this conversation with Micah when he was going into his second year, I said, bro, let me tell you, you're not a secret anymore. People know you. So I don't care what offensive lineman or which tight end or whoever's in front of you, you're not playing against them. You're playing against the coordinator. What are they going to come out and do this week to try to keep the ball as far away from you as possible? And how can you still wreck it even if you're not making a play? So I would talk to him about things that I would do to just disrupt the play long enough where, okay, well, if you guys are going to hit me in this bunch set, I'm hitting two people. You're not going to get out to that route. And so that means you got to hold on to the ball longer. And so I started to play these games with the coordinators. And you know, I would have coordinators or offensive line coaches coming out. We were playing Eagles one year, and I was playing against Donovan McNabb. Their offensive line coach came out to me pregame and told Ron Rivera to pass me a message. He said, tell Shawne that he is not going to touch Donovan today. He said that. He said, we don't care who else make a play, but Shawne will not touch him. And when I tell you, it was just a madhouse of formations, slide protections, chips off the edge, fan protections, all sorts of variations, guys going in motions, disrupting my pass rush before I got off the line of scrimmage. It was hell. And he was right. I didn't sniff Donovan that whole game. It was just, I mean, they had two people and sometimes three just to make sure I stayed away from him.
Shawne, you had to deal with a lot of injuries, specifically later in your career. How did you deal with those both mentally and physically? The
physical part wasn't as bad. It was the mental part that was the toughest because when you played the game at such a high level and you're used to dominating every week and not and going out there and literally being able to take over a game and change the trajectory of that game yourself. And that's difficult as a defensive player. That's a lot for a defensive player to now being able to go just have flashes of it, right? You'll go out there and make a big play. I can still get a sack, but I might disappear for a quarter, right? And because I couldn't consistently drive off the line of scrimmage because my Achilles or knee or whatever I was dealing with at that time. And so you will go back and you're so accustomed to looking at that stat sheet after the game and it's saying 2 sacks and 6 tackles and two TFLs or forced fumble. You get accustomed to this life and playing that way. And now looking at the film the next day on Monday, I'm like, man, a couple of years ago I would have made that play. If they ran a counter from the backside, I could run it down. They would never be able to run a counter on me, or they would never leave a tight end 1-on-1 backside to block me on a play action. It was just things like that that was just run through my head over and over again. And so the mental aspect of being injured and not being yourself anymore was way harder than, because you knew your body. I think a lot of people, not only injury, but when you get older as a player, you like, okay, yeah, it's going to take me a little bit longer to warm up. It's going to take me a little bit longer, more ice tubs, more cold tubs, more stretching, more therapy, more massages. As a player that you got to do those extra things, even just to maintain. But same thing with injury. It was just like, man, I just got to get healthy enough so I can go out there and play, even if I can't take over a game anymore. So the physical part, I was actually okay with not being the same anymore. It was the mental part that I knew that I couldn't take over games anymore.
To you, were the juiciest downs 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 13, when you just knew they were going to throw it and the old pin your ears back? Was that when you would get most hype?
Oh, man. You love being in those situations. And, I was telling Jock, who I played with, who was a defensive line coach with the Cleveland Browns, and he was talking about Myles Garrett. He put Myles Garrett on FaceTime before. And I was telling him, and I was fortunate because we had an offense. We knew that was going to get up 2 scores on people. We knew that we were going to get in 3rd and long situations. And sometimes, I'll come out on 1st down or 2nd down just to make sure I'm fresh for 3rd. So now you got a friend, I'll go out there and I'll tap my head on 1st down. They're running the ball. And, they might run a play action on 2nd down, but they're getting that 3rd 5+. They got to throw the ball down the field. And then you're going to see me trotting back on the field. I'm ready to go. I'm fresh. I told you, it was a game. It was a mental battle for me out there. I played the game right. And, I just knew that those were the times that I can go out and have my biggest impact. Those times, 3rd and long situations, they need to stop. Or turnover and downs, or we need to get off the field. That was my time to shine.
Was one of your favorite songs when you were in San Diego? San Diego Supercharged. I remember that song, and every time I left, my family would be singing it. Do you remember that song, and do you still sing that jingle? They had this song that played every time they scored. San Diego Supercharger, Sandy.
Yeah, dude, it's the best, man, because they you see the whole stadium, everybody, all the fans partying to it, just having a great time, and you hated to hear it because you know what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
That song. So that's hilarious. Your family was singing it though.
Oh, all the kids, everybody. I'm like, guys, we just got stomped. Like, let's move on.
What's up with your relationship now with the Chargers?
I still do a lot with the team. Every year we shoot a big, since they've been in SoFi, shoot a big promo pregame before the team comes out. Last year was just me, kind of a hype up video, which is really dope. This year it's me, LT, and Antonio Gates. So this year they killed it. I think the Chargers social media and digital team are the best in the NFL. I mean, they really, really knock it out the park. And then so me now and everything I got going, I'm really big into creativity and the digital platforms and, driving traffic to certain content. They just do a good job, man. And so I'm at every home game, and I still do a lot and work with the team and support the team.
What are your thoughts on Jim Harbaugh coming in? Obviously, last year, Los Angeles Chargers, he's getting named the head coach. But talk about the culture shift that this organization's gone through under his leadership.
When I punching somebody else in the gut, it's night and day. I mean, it's and don't get me wrong, I really like Brandon Staley personally. When Brandon Staley got hired, I was one of the first people he called. And he called me at night, and we talked on the phone for a good 20, 30 minutes. Great conversation, really motivated. You hear the enthusiasm in his voice. Like, he had all the good intentions of turning the organization around. And I think he could have if he had a little bit more experience. But I think that's what bit him, is that he, being a really good coordinator, we're seeing it across the NFL. It is tough to jump in that head coaching job because you become a manager of everybody. It's not you calling plays anymore. You're just looking at the offense side of the ball. You don't have to worry about down and distance or, when to call a timeout, punt situation, special teams. You don't have to worry about any of that. The only thing you got to worry about your guys getting on and off the field on the offense or defense side of the ball. And I just felt that, with Brandon Staley, the experience got him at the end because some of the moments got too big for him. And he wasn't ready for those big moments in the game. Now, when Jim Harbaugh came in, I knew it. I mean, I knew it right away that my first visit to the facility, I was there, and it was an energy that everybody walked around with that was completely different than I saw in the previous years. And it's like people walking around with a purpose. They had confidence. They knew they would, like, everybody knew what to do. It was just, I was talking to one of the coordinators that came in with Jim, and they just were talking like, man, they will follow this dude to the moon. It's like he eats, breathes, and sleeps football, and it's not like a show. Like, this is who he is. And the vibe, just the energy of everything shifted in that building this first day walking in there, where the guys who wanted to buy in, bought in. And the guys who wasn't going to buy in, they were out, period. And that's what you have to have. You have to have that umbrella effect to trickle down from the top, down to the bottom. And also Joe Ortiz, the GM.
Yep.
He's a football guy. And again, Tom Telesco, really like Tom personally, a lot. We used to talk a lot and spend time conversating. I like him a lot, but he was more of a numbers and datas guy, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, but that can reflect in your team, right? And how you play football. Because, this game is so passionate and physical, it ain't about decimals and numbers all the time. You got to go out and hit people in the mouth. And if you don't have that attitude to trickle down from the top down to the bottom, it's going to affect everybody. And I believe that's what happened with Tom Telesco. That's what happened to Brandon Staley. It was kind of a domino effect of numbers and opportunity and these percentages. It was too much thinking. And Joe Ortiz, if you talk to Joe Ortiz, I talked to him before the game sometime, it feels like you're talking to a player. Like you're talking to a player that's about to suit up right now and go out and play football. That's what you get when you're talking to Joe Ortiz. And that's what you get out of Jim Harbaugh. That's what you get out of their team. Like, there's a level of excitement around this team that is contagious. Guys love playing football again. I didn't see that the years before Jim Harbaugh got there. It was like a bunch of guys that was just out there. They didn't know what they were doing. They wasn't passionate about what they doing. They didn't want to show up to work and put all they didn't buy in. And that team under Jim Harbaugh has bought in. And that's the difference I've seen over the last several years.
Final question for you, and we were talking about this before you came on, and that's why we started on fighting, was lights out extreme fighting. So, I was, again, looking at your Instagram and looking at the fight videos and reading about the organization a bit. So what is it that you do? Because this is your event, this is your organization. So what is your role in this?
Everything. I got my hand in everything, a little bit from the matchmaking on to the digital to the distribution. We're on my network, Lights Out Sports TV, which is a free ad-supported all sports streaming service that is completely free, available on every smart TV, iOS and Android. Got a ton of free live sports there. But, we got the next up-and-coming superstars in this MMA business. And, my first UFC fight was in 2005. It was Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture. And every year since 2005, I've been to at least 4 events. So, count 20 years times, that's how many of UFC fights I've been to in my lifetime, at least. And we want to develop these next up and coming guys. I mean, we just had a huge fight down in Long Beach, Lights Out Extreme Fight in 27 this past Saturday. And Tyrell Fortune was our main event. Heavyweight, number 1 pound heavyweight in the country right now. He'll probably end up at the UFC. If he's not there in the next few weeks, he'll fight with us one more time and then get there. So he may be signing the UFC. And we got 1 or 2 more guys from this next card, November 1st. That'll be in Long Beach, California again. That will also be signing the UFC. And we just launched our new AI virtual advertisement. So the sponsors now are changing on the mat between fights. which has never been done in combat sports. And now we're opening up to other combat sports organizations and other professional leagues, soccer and baseball and everything else. But we brought that to market. And so I love, honestly, and this, don't get me wrong, it is hectic as hell, right? It is hectic. I mean, we lost fights on Monday, the fight is on Saturday. We lost a fight, got, one missed weight, the other one had an accidental elbow in practice and he had to pull out. So you got to find two new fighters, right? So now we're gathering a team and we're switching the card around and switching the order of the fights for TV because we're on, some other networks as well, simulcasting. But I wouldn't want to do anything else. I got fortunate, man, because it is tough. I told you, like anyone that I talk to, when you get done, it is tough trying to figure out that next thing. It is tough because we're so regimented. We're so used to doing something for so long. You're trying to figure out, okay, who am I? What am I about now? Now you don't have this NFL and this football snap over you. I got fortunate because I was doing this for a long time. I got into TV when I got done, and I understood production and advertisement and marketing and entertainment. And so that's, we feel that we're the next, big company in the world when it comes to combat sports. And with this technology we're introducing, we're going to be one of the most groundbreaking organizations in the world here shortly.
Lights Out Extreme Fighting, which is lightsoutsportstv.com. And if you go there, you can find all the different places that the network is. So yeah, congrats on that. That's super
Absolutely.
cool. It sounds like you found your second calling.
Yeah, promoting fights from one crazy sport to the next, man. But it's been awesome. It's been awesome.
Shawne, we appreciate the time. Thank you so much. Good luck with the fights. And yeah, we just really appreciate the time you spent with us here talking about your career.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Shawne.
Hey, looking at this week's games, I got to say, bad week for games, just generally speaking.
Not a great week of games. Yeah, I was looking through some of them as well, and I was like, nothing too sexy on there this weekend. You really want to prop your feet up and just say, I'm going to watch this one through and through.
Got a couple, like Eagles at Bucks.
Eagles-Bucks should be a good one.
That's the game, right?
100%. How about Baker Mayfield?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Bucks cannot sustain him having to make game-winning drives every game.
Don't let him have 90 seconds on the clock because that dude is going to go down and he's going to win. I love that kid. You know what? A kid, he's a man. Let's be honest. You know what he reminds me of? A little bit, just like how he plays the game and just the effect that he has is Brett Favre. And the reason I say it, he's tough as nails. He plays with this childlike enthusiasm, and he just seems like he's enjoying himself out there and competing his ass off. And I just remember I always was drawn to that about Brett Favre. And when I watch him, I see those different components of his game that I'm like, he's got some shit to him.
The other one is Colts at Rams. Now, the Rams did lose, but the Rams are a good football team, and we're really going to see. I mean, the Colts, until, the second quarter, hadn't punted all year.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Danny Dimes, baby.
Yeah, so the Colts are going to Los Angeles. I think those are the premier games.
I think that would be a huge game for the Colts because, like you said, the Rams, they go on the road in Philly. They're up 26-7 early in the third quarter, and then Philly catches fire. Hurts goes out, figures out A.J. Brown's out there, and just throw him the rock. They all of a sudden take the lead, but the Rams go back down, they're about to kick a game-winning field goal. Yeah. Jordan Davis is a dude. He was clocked. You know what he's clocked at running that?
I saw the 18 miles an hour. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Big dude, 18 miles an hour.
330 pounds moving.
Yeah. Thursday night, Seahawks at Cardinals. It'll be on, so I'll watch it. Just the other games in general. Vikings at Steelers. Mild interest. Panthers at Patriots. Again.
Patriots had, 5 turnovers in that game?
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Those
my God.
2 end zone fumbles.
Oh.
Unbelievable.
Do you know how pissed off Mike Vrabel was?
I
can
don't.
only
Please tell me.
Imagine him in those meetings this
With
week.
your experience with Mike Vrabel, what do you think his reaction was after the game?
He went in there and got after their ass and said, we lost this game. We lost this game because we turned over the ball 5 times. If we don't take care of the football, we will put ourselves in a position where we won't win any game. And I thought Drake May played pretty well, but he made some decisions that obviously he wants back. At the end of the day, there's no way when you turn over the ball 5 times and he's going to be harping on their ass all week long, and he'll be relentless about it because he knows if they don't fix that, there's no chance.
Commanders at Falcons. Mariota played pretty good.
Dude, my boy Marcus, did I not tell you? He's a baller.
Yeah.
And he went out and played like one.
It's awesome.
And I was so excited for him. I texted him after the game just to let him know that I was proud of him and just really excited for the success. And he always, you know what the thing about him, he's awesome because you know he's getting bombarded with all this stuff. He texts me back, hope the family's well. That's the type of guy he is. So I hope nothing but successes for him.
Saints at Bills, that should be a blowout. But we thought the same thing about the freaking Dolphins last week with the Bills.
We did. I mean, but then again, that was a division rivalry that they're very familiar with each other. They play against each other twice a year. And so I feel like in those type of games with the familiarity you have with the different schemes and system, that there's a confidence level that goes into you playing in those type of games.
Browns at Lions. How about those gritty Browns?
Dude, their defense is savage. Schwartz.
I loved their freaking uniforms last week.
Yeah, they look.
The dark brown.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
They're awesome.
Chargers at Giants. That'll be fun just to see what Jackson Dart can do, see if he loses his jewels.
Yeah, seriously. Tough first outing.
Titans at Texans. Nobody cares.
That should be an interesting matchup. Both of the teams are struggling.
Yeah.
I mean, Titans go in there and take down Houston. Oh, boy.
One of them has to go back to college.
Relegated?
The loser gets relegated. Yeah.
Delegated? Relegated, yeah.
We still have eligibility.
Jags and 49ers. 49ers just keep on.
They've been winning, really gritty games. What was it, 16-14 or something this last week? Mac Jones
puts on a knee brace.
I know. They said he hurt his knee again.
They still won. Bears at Raiders. Nobody cares. Packers at Cowboys. I mean, nobody should care because, well, the Cowboys suck. The Packers are really good. Bad loss. Bad end of the game loss. But everybody's always going to care about the Cowboys.
They are, and obviously the Parsons effect. They're going to either care about the Cowboys because they like the Cowboys, or they absolutely hate the Cowboys and can't wait to see if Green Bay can stomp on them.
Jets at Dolphins and Bengals at Broncos on Monday night. That's it. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Shawne Merriman, for dropping by and spending about a half hour with us.
You ready to get in the cage with you now?
I'm going to pass on that. Yeah, I'm going to pass. Keep pounding. I always say that. You know what I mean? Got my jersey on. That's Matt Castle. That's Kickoff Kevin. That's Brandon Ray. I'm Bobby Bones. We've had lots to say. We'll see you guys next week. Goodbye, everybody.